It is my honor and pleasure to introduce to you Eugene Mould. He was born June 20th, 1923 in Richmond, California. Mr. Mould graduated from Mount Diablo Union High School in Concord, where he participated in journalism, honor society, competitive speech, student government, orchestra, and sports. On graduation, he was awarded a scholarship of $120. Enrolled in the College of Engineering at UC Berkeley in the fall of 1941, Mr. Mould enlisted in the Army of Air Corps and was called to active duty in March 1943. In February 1944, he earned his pilot's wings and rank of second lieutenant. He was trained as a pilot of the B-24 four-engine heavy bomber. On April 26, 1944, Eugene married Anita Sharper. This year, they celebrated 75 years of marriage. After D-Day, Mr. Mould flew a B-24 to England, where he was assigned to the 406th Night Leaflet Squadron, flying 43 missions, especially during and after Battle of the Bulge. He was awarded the Air Medal 6 times. After discharge, Mr. Mould enjoyed a successful career in education in Modesto City Schools, from math teacher to counselor to administrator, as well as Stanislaus State as an instructor and student-teacher supervisor. He was co-author of a geometry textbook. Mr. Mould is a father of 4, grandfather to 13 grandchildren, and a community volunteer for faith-based organizations. His varied experiences have included newspaper printer's assistant, grocery store clerk, shipyard worker, house painter, carpenter, cannery fieldman, roofer, and gardener. Please welcome Mr. Eugene Mould.
I'm really glad to be here today. Actually, at my age, I'm glad to be anywhere. Now, from some things I've read, you have already formed an opinion of me about what I'm like or who I am. Does anybody feel brave enough to tell me your first impression of me?
You're a cool dude.
Thank you. It's like there are 3 parts to my speech, and humor is part 1. So I've sure gotten old. I've had 2 bypass surgeries and a hip replacement, new knees, fought prostate cancer and diabetes. I'm half blind, can't hear anything quieter than a jet engine, take 40 different medications that make me dizzy, winded, and subject to blackouts. I have bouts with dementia. I have poor circulation. I can hardly feel my hands and my feet anymore. I can't remember if I'm 87 or 96. I've lost all my friends, but praise the Lord, I can still drive. At my age, I know that I've slowed down. It takes me an hour and a half to watch 60 Minutes. Maybe you know the price of gas has increased, but that won't affect me because I always put in $20 worth. Have you heard of Halley's Comet?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
That comes around every 75 or 76 years, am I right about that?
Something like that, yes.
Yeah, so far I've seen it twice. Let's see, your ages are, who's the youngest one in here? You are.
16.
16? I have neckties that are older than you. The doctor said to the patient, I'm really sorry to tell you that you're in bad shape and you don't have long to live. And the patient said, well, how long do I have? And the doctor said, 10. And the patient said, 10 what? Days, weeks, months? And the doctor said, 9, 8. this preacher decided he needed a day off from Sunday preaching, so he called in to his assistant and said, "You take over on Sunday morning, I'm going to go play golf." So he went to a neighboring city where there was a golf course and teed off and hit the ball. And as the ball got up in the air, a gust of wind came up and blew it way down the fairway. The ball slowed, it rolled right into the cup. And somebody in heaven said, "God, why did you do that when he's playing hooky from preaching and calling in sick when he isn't?" And God said, "Who's he going to tell?" Okay, end of part one. Night Leaflet Squadron and the Battle of the Bulge. The squadron I was in flew we flew 4-engine bombers. I was first pilot. We flew at night alone. We dropped leaflets. We had 3 or 4 targets a night. And we would fly instructions to German soldiers. We would drop good surrender certificates that guaranteed German soldiers food and medical care and safe passage if they would surrender. And our intelligence people told us that worked. They would come through the line. So I was gratified that my assignment was not to drop bombs and kill people, but to get somebody to surrender so they would not have to be killed. Okay, a few of my experiences flying missions. We took off from England at dusk. We flew over the English Channel, and as we cleared the English Channel, we cut our running lights. And we flew alone at night, and we had 3 or 4 targets. On one mission, one of the gunners said, "There's a fighter out there." Now, I never saw it, and I never know if it was friendly or foe. But I did what my training kicked me in to do, and I put a B-24 4-engine bomber in an evasive maneuver we call a corkscrew. Are you forming a mental picture of a corkscrew? That's what we did. We dove and we circled. If you fly straight and level, you're easier to track. If you circle and dive, the bomber can get speed, and we never got hit. If the bombs wouldn't come out, if the release mechanism wouldn't work, then the flight engineer had to put on a portable oxygen mask, go out in the bomb bays, and kick out the bombs like with a screwdriver. So one night the bomb mechanism did not work. The flight engineer was out there. We were circling the target. We don't like to circle the target. Do you understand that? If you can circle the target and they can find you, you're easier to hit. But the ball turret gunner, the one who was under the airplane all by himself, said, "There's a searchlight on us." You can probably figure out if they can hit you with a searchlight, they can hit you with a gun. So we don't like the circle, and we don't like searchlights. This is combat. This crew member was the least mentally stable of all of us. He did fine, but that's the way he was. You'll never guess what it was. It was a full moon.
Oh.
There was no searchlight. At another mission, as we got airborne and on our way to our target, the mission got scrubbed, probably because of weather. And so the radio operator gets an encrypted message in Morse code, which he takes down and translates into English. Then he tells me, as first pilot, the mission is scrubbed. So we're going to go back to the base and not drop our bombs, and we don't get credit for combat when that happens. Before the tower could stack the airplanes up like, say, every 500 feet, so we wouldn't collide, way out there, I saw another airplane headed toward me. We are closing at right around 400 miles an hour. What should I do? Time's up. You didn't react in time. We're traveling about 7 miles a minute, closing speed. You know, it turned out okay because I'm standing here today. You know, I went up, the other pilot went down. Or we would have killed 20 men. That's how close it came. So if I hadn't gone up and the other pilot gone down, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't have 4 kids. I wouldn't know Lorraine. On my last mission, I decided I was going to do a really good job of landing. And a good landing means that you run out of altitude and airspeed at exactly the same time. An airplane will fly at a certain speed and will not fly at another speed. Now, an airplane wing cross-section is shaped like this, so that the air hitting right here has to go faster than the air underneath. Any science majors here? If the velocity increases, the pressure decreases. So this air has to go faster, so there's less pressure up on top of the wing. So that's how we get it to fly. Now I need somebody to help me with a little science experiment. Do you mind coming up here? All I want you to do is hold this and blow on it, all right? But I want your classmates to step up here with me. What will happen to the strip of paper when he blows over here? What will happen? It'll go down. Anybody else?
Start shaking.
It's going to flutter.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Class participation is fine with me. I'm a teacher. Just blow across there for me, please. Thank you. One more time. See, science is right. Thank you very much. If the volume is more, which it was when he blew over it, then under here where he didn't, it came up. The air base I was on had the ingredients for ice cream. We had dried milk, they had sugar, they had some flavorings. We had everything we needed except a freezer. We had refrigerators for the food. We didn't have a freezer. I'm in England in World War II. You can't go to the nearby hardware store and buy a compressor and a freezer. We had ice cream last night. Guess how we did it?
Did you mix it up and put it on the wing of the plane?
It was not on the wing of the plane, but you're on the right idea. We took a 4-engine bomber with a total of 4,800 horsepower to 20,000 feet, where it's freezing, froze the ice cream, came back and had it that night at a party. This was in the days that none of you remember, when there was gas rationing in the United States and you needed a gas coupon to get gas. Let me tell you a little bit about the psychology of being on a combat crew. I was 21. Anybody here 21? You're 21? When I was your age, I flew a 4-engine bomber from California to the East Coast, to Iceland, to England. The philosophy, the psychology of a combat crew is somebody is going to die. And people did die. I can remember standing in a cemetery and saluting. It makes me emotional right there. We thought somebody's going to die. Somebody did die. It's not going to be me. Somebody else, but not me. That was the psychology. That was the blocking we were doing. Part 3, some of my life experiences. What I've learned in 96 years. You're teaching all the time, whether you want to be or not. I was at Modesto Junk Company one time, and a man was there with aluminum cans, and his son, that he was going to cash in. And it turned out that he would put something like a chicken bone in every can so it would weigh more, so he could cheat the company out of money. He was teaching his son to be dishonest. Just an experience that stayed with me. When I was teaching geometry at Modesto High School, one girl said to me, "You're the first one I've ever met who likes math." I never said I liked math. I do like math, I just never said it. And it came across that I was teaching that math is something you can like. Another experience, I'm a volunteer for Interfaith Ministries. I pick up donated food at Trader Joe's in the alley behind the store and take it to a food bank. I was doing that one time, and a man came along with a woman in the passenger seat. I took it they were home. I don't know, how would I know? I don't know, but I took it that they were homeless. And he drove up to me and said, "How does it feel to be selfish? How does it feel to be selfish?" I took that to mean, if I ask you for something, you will turn me down. Well, what I said was, I think they are concerned about liability. And he said, "Yeah, I'm tired of that old," and used a word I choose not to use here today. But you know what the word is, don't you? I thought later what I should have said was, I've been helping people in need for more than 20 years. So I don't think I'm selfish. Another life experience. I was in a restaurant, and I saw a man like over there that I think I was his teacher one time. So I went over to him, and he said, "Yes, you were my teacher." And he said, "You changed my life." I asked him, what did I teach you? Was it trigonometry? And he said, "No, it was bonehead math." And he said, "If you had been the kind of teacher who put people down, I would have quit." But he went on to get an engineering degree at Stanford, and he also became an educator, and there's a school named for him in this area. And I don't take credit for all of that, of course, but this is another example of you're teaching all the time whether you want to be or not, Teaching all the time is not always positive. One of my students told me later at a Modesto High class reunion, he wasn't completely serious, but he said, "You ruined my life." He was a very bright person. He decided in all his teenage wisdom that he was not going to do homework. I had a procedure for grading tests and homework. And if you didn't do your homework, it hurt your grade. And so he didn't get an A, he got a B+. And he learned, if you choose the behavior, you choose the consequences. As it happens, I just met him last Saturday night. And he lives in Southern California. And I said to him, don't give me any numbers, but are you wealthy? He's a civil and structural engineer. He said yes. He is a multi-millionaire. But he decided he wasn't going to do homework when he was a sophomore. Okay, I have some of my favorite trivia. Have you heard of a 21-gun salute?
Mhm.
Why? I'm a math teacher. Why is it 21? What's wrong with 19?
The reason they do the 21-gun salute, I think, is it pays homage to the year 1776, the year the country was founded. It's 1 + 7 + 7 + 6 = 21.
Exactly. Could you hear him? It is the title of the digits in 1776. Yes, exactly. And if they do it correctly, they will do 1 and pause, and do 7 and pause, and so on. Yes. Okay, one other trivia thing. Why do we say the whole 9 yards? Nothing to do with football, by the way. Nothing.
Wasn't that the length of the belt that had the rounds in the aircraft?
Exactly. You hear him all right? The ammunition belt for the 50 caliber machine guns was 27 feet long. A lot of you can figure out that's 9 yards. If you really got into combat, fierce and long, then you used up all your ammunition. You used it, thank you, you used up the whole 9 yards. Here's a piece of philosophy for you. Winners do things losers don't want to do. Winners do things losers don't want to do. I don't know how, you must be one of the winners. You're here and you're 16. Congratulations. So, your high school grade's good? How good?
Always. Always.
Honors. Congratulations. I'm going to show off right now. Get me my jacket. This is my dress jacket from 1944, 45 or so. This is what I wore when I went on leave. I want you to know I can pretty much still button it up. So here's what I look, partly of what I looked like when I was a pilot. Now I invite anyone here who would like a picture to come up here and we'll take a picture together.
thank you for your service. Thank you for everything you did fighting in that war. I hope we all know the significance of the sacrifices that were made here. Personally, I wouldn't be here without that. So I'm from Jewish descent, and I'm very thankful for everything the United States did so that I could be here as a United States citizen today. So on a personal level, on behalf of my family, I want to thank you. As the dean that oversees veteran services, I'd also like to present you with one of our challenge coins. This is one of our highest honors that we give anybody on campus here. Thank you for visiting today, being here today, and thank you for sharing your story with everybody.
Thank you very much. When I was at the World War II Memorial, I would have people come up to me and say, "Is that the original?" And of course I would say yes. And I took a picture with probably a 10-year-old boy wearing my jacket and so on. And I had people come up to me like from the country of Colombia saying, "Are you a general?" and so on. Well, I told my family about this and that I was attracting people coming up to me. And my grandson reminded me that I told him that this jacket was a chick magnet.
How did you end up coming to Modesto?
My wife and I, with a one daughter, came to Modesto for my first teaching job at Modesto High School. I was a math teacher at Modesto High. Okay, I have a riddle while they're doing whatever they're doing. A math teacher riddle. The answer is geometry. That's the answer. What's the question? What did the acorn say when it grew up? You caught it? The answer is algebra. What's the question? What do mermaids wear?
Yes. That's where I was going.
You were talking about the hometown heroes,
Yes.
and so would you like to tell the students and what's going on here?
Top picture on the left was taken in England. That's the bombing crew, and we're wearing our life preserver vests. And
Let's see.
And the picture on the bottom left is a crew reunion, and we're posing in the same order as we did when they took the picture on the base in England.
So who are you?
I'm on the back row, second from the left in the back.
Okay. And on the top you are
I
second.
am right here.
Okay.
As far as I know, I'm the only one of the two of the 10 crew members still living.
And then this here is on the right.
I don't recognize that picture, but that's how they loaded bombs. That's a B-17. That's the crew.
And you are in the upper
I am
right,
here.
second.
The youngest on the crew was 19, the oldest was 23. I don't think we realized the danger we were in. I don't think it registered that we may not make it home. This is taken in Washington, D.C. when I was on our flighter. There's some veterans, I don't know, but they're all World War II veterans, and we posed together in Washington, D.C., and you can see I'm wearing that jacket.
And what's going on here, do you remember? You're taking pictures. This was at the changing of the guard.
Okay,
At
yeah, we're
Arlington.
just watching the changing of the guard, yeah.
And I think one of your other veterans is there on the left, I believe.
That's our wedding picture on the left. That's my wife, Anita, and she sent that to me when I was overseas.
Oh,
We
this,
were
this one,
married the
this
end of
one.
April. By July, I was in England flying missions.
So that's the one she sent to you.
Yes,
Where'd you keep it?
in the barracks.
Yeah.
In the barracks, yeah. This is inside a
Wait,
B-17 at the Modesto airport on, just several weeks ago. I was invited for a ride on a B-17.
Did you actually go up in the air in a B-17?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, my wife and I got a free ride and they take 8 passengers at a time. And I got invited because I'm a veteran. But then there were only 7 people signed up, so my wife got to go. So we both flew in a B-17. Passengers are not, I was a passenger, are not allowed in the flight deck.
Sure.
But we were back, so we're, in this picture, I'm in the Bombay.
But you could have flown that.
Yeah, I flew B-17s.
But I mean, you could have flown it
Yeah.
then.
Well, I don't remember power settings and all that.
It's,
But it's been a while.
They had me sign inside the Bombay what they call their Wall of Fame. So that's just saying I was on that flight.
so it says Modesto, September 2nd, 2019, B-24, B-17F, first pilot, 1944 to 45, Eugene Mould. Is that 8th?
8th Air Force.
8th Air Force, 406th Bomb Squadron, Night Leaflet Squadron, 43 missions, and then you've signed it.
Yes. On the left, we're by the B-17, and on the right, that's the people who went on the flight. The flight was from Modesto to Atwater and back.
Is that plane usually in Atwater, or was this? a
No,
tour-
that
tour
plane is based in Mesa, Arizona, and they were on a tour. Yeah. This plane never flew in combat. It was produced too late to get into the war. So the commemorative Air Force has this. They also have a B-25, which is a World War II twin-engine bomber. So that's the plane I flew. That's a plane like I flew. You've been a very nice audience. There were no disruptive students here today. Nobody I had to put down. Nobody I had to go. There's one technique teachers use.
You just push them away?
Because students, they don't like this, do you?
I don't know if you're trying to push me out of the way or what. I'm not leaving. I'm not going.
That's one technique teachers use. Anybody here thinking of being a teacher?
I am.
Are you?
I like junior high kids.
Okay. Are you a teacher now?
I'm not now, no. I go in and I help with the journalism classes at the junior high school in Oakdale.
Okay. One of the best techniques for a teacher is when you're first there and you wait for quiet. See, I'm giving you my body language right now that says, I like you, but I'm in charge. That's it. I'm running this show. You're not running this show. So I'll let her do that, and I'm gonna, unless you have a question, I'm gonna quit and go home.
Any more questions?
I just wanted to say, and everybody was saying it, but thank you for your service. I was born in England. My parents are English, and they were young, of course, in World War II, and they had a lot of contact with all the Americans that came over. And if you guys hadn't come in, I wouldn't be here today and have the opportunities to live in this country.
So your parents are from England?
Mm-hmm. And I was born in England also myself later.
My father's from England.
Mm-hmm.
My father lived in Bury,
Mm-hmm.
south of Manchester.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Came here as a young man.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I'm an immigrant. No, I'm not. I'm a firstborn American. I'm a son of immigrants. All the immigration talk today, I'm the son of one.
I do have a question about, because you married a native before you left on your missions, didn't you? You married
Yes,
in
yes.
April, and then you
Yes,
left.
I married
in July.
my wife in the end of April of '44, and did I already say this? By July, I was in England in a combat base.
Yeah.
So we were married just several months before I left.
And how long was it till you saw her again?
Who's talking now?
Eugene, how long was it before you saw her again?
Right around 9 months.
Oh.
So then you had
Do
to
you
leave.
believe in divine providence? My wife and I reunited back in Concord, California on her birthday.
Coincidence, yeah.
Yeah, it was not
Strange.
something, yeah.
That is possibly the best birthday gift anyone could give to their significant other,
Yeah.
especially during times of war.
You're just a great audience. Thank you very much for being so courteous and attentive. And I'm going to sign off here, all right?
Thank you so much.